Welcome to another episode of Ikezy Talks, and I remain your humble host, Ikezy. Yes, today I'm smiling as expected. Arsenal just defeated Wigan 4-0. It was a good game. It was a game where I think all Arsenal fans expected that we're going to win. I'm kind of a little bit disappointed that it wasn't with a larger margin. Because the way we started the game, 4 goals in the first, I think, 25 minutes, and then we just kind of like we just took our foot off the gas, and we shouldn't have done that. I think, in my opinion, yes, I'm happy with the victory. Don't get me wrong. Honestly, it's a good victory. It's a good win. But I'm always of the opinion that when you have the opportunity to obliterate your opponents, you do not hesitate. You don't hesitate. If you're a team like, I know yesterday, Man City, they did win. I think it was Salford 2-0, but and I don't want to compare, but we've seen previous Man City teams in the past, when they feel like they smell blood, they go for more and more and more and more. And that's not to take anything away from the performance. I thought that the first half was brilliant. I saw what Arteta tried to do with the tactical tweaks in the second half, also because it felt as though the game, was already won. If you had 3-0, 4-0 up at halftime, you can just consider the game as, already won. Before I go further, please, subscribe to this channel if you that's the way you can support this channel, and that's the way you can know when we drop more and more content, right? If you're an Arsenal fan, if you're a Chelsea fan, Man U, Man City, Liverpool, please subscribe. I know right now the channel or the page is more Arsenal centric, but over the next couple of weeks and months, I'm going to be doing analysis, previews, post-match reviews on other clubs as well, just to spread just to spread the conversations across all the other clubs. So anyways, back to what we're talking about now, the game. I think the players did well. I was expecting a much more rotated squad than I saw. Calafari was quite unfortunate to get the injury that he got in the warm-up, and I felt like Bukayo Saka coming into the game and playing the role that he played, I thought it was brilliant. I've always been of the opinion, of the impression that Bukayo Saka, one way or the other, he would gravitate towards playing in the middle, and I think it was brilliant. It gave us glimpses of what to expect in the very distant future. Because as a winger, you can't just keep running. At some point, you have to learn how to play from the midfield as well. It was very direct. It gave me a kind of avert vibe at times. So, but that was actually refreshing. Two players I would like to actually single out with praise. Eberechi Eze, I thought, I've been very critical of him of recent, even though I understand why he might not be thriving in our system, but you want to see your creative players turn up in games. I don't care if it's Wigan or it's Brentford or wherever it is, Man City. You have to be able to impose yourself in games, right? And in the first half, he did quite well, trying to show up for his teammates, tracking back. His defensive ability was great as well, and then he contributed to the goals. I think there were two brilliant assists, for Madueke's goal and then for Martinelli's goal as well. Those were two very well, taken passes, and honestly, this is what we want to see from Eze. More of this to come. I believe that as players, confidence contributes a lot into how these players are able to play. So I feel like we need to give him that run of game, that stretch of games. Honestly, I think the game against Wolves next week, I think he should play, he should start, so he can build up his confidence and go on from there. Excuse me, and go on from there, right? It was a fantastic display from him today. And also, I want to also praise Christian Norgard. Honestly, this brother hasn't been playing a lot. He hasn't played a lot like he would have expected. I know that, even when he signed, Arteta talked to him and said, you're just going to be a squad player that would, show up whenever we need you. And he's taking it in his stride. He's taking it very well. And whenever he's been called upon to play, he gives us very brilliant performances. Now, I don't care, earlier, no disrespect to Wigan, but I don't care about the opposition. I don't care if it's a non-league team or whatever. I think he's been courageous, he's been brave in how he plays. He made some very brilliant passes, forward passes, picking out Gabriel, picking out Saka, picking out Martinelli, picking out Madueke, some very brilliant passes. And I said it, I know, the game before the Brentford game, I did say that I wanted players like Declan Rice to get rested. my preference would have been for him to be rested for the Brentford game. But as we all saw how the Brentford game panned out, he was actually very critical in that game. But I don't think that if, for example, Declan Rice had gotten injured before that game, I don't think that Nogard would have done a bad job either. I think he's Premier League proven his experience. In a game against Brentford like that, it was always going to be physical. Brentford is this format team. He knows them. He knows them well in and out. Whenever the game gets physical, I think Nogard is a very good a player for us. So personally, I would want him to play against Wolves as well. Just so we can give Declan Rice, Zubimendi, much more rest, right? I believe that we have what it takes to win that Wolves game regardless. So but yeah, the game against Wigan was really good. Jesus was very sharp in the first half. I think in the second half, he played a much more controlled role, and his versatility is something that we can always bank on, always, dropping deep, going wide, interchanging with Martinelli. Whenever Gabriel plays, we see the best of Martinelli, and I think it's not a coincidence because they're able to interchange. Their partnership is actually something that had been growing since the 2022-2023 season. So it was just quite unfortunate that when Gyökeres came in and we changed our system, things didn't quite work out for him. We weren't able to pick out the passes like we were in the first half. And that was also credit to Wigan. I think they realized early or after the first half that the game was done. So they weren't as adventurous as they were in the first half. So they just kind of sat deep. And we faced the usual low block, deep block in the second half. So, but we were still able to force some chances. I think Eze got a couple chances blocked. Gyökeres hit the post. Trossard, there was Zubimendi. It was a really good performance, honestly. The most important thing was that we progressed to the next round, and we did, right? Brilliant shift from the likes of Mosquera, Lewis Kelly. I thought it was okay. He can do so much better for us defensively. But honestly, these players, like I always say, because I play soccer myself, I play football myself, and whenever I don't play for a long time, it affects your fitness, it affects your confidence. You want to play many games. The more games you play, the more your confidence builds up. So these players playing games and playing games consecutively, whether it's coming from the bench or whatnot, or starting from the jump, it does them a lot of good, right? And we have a squad that is looking like it's starting to thin out now. Calafuri got injured at the warm-up. Odegaard was not on the bench. Kai Havertz is out for a couple of days or weeks. Merino is injured. So these are players that we know that we've lost, and we want them back as quickly as possible. So, but then before they are back, we have to be able to manage the current squad that we have. And in games like this, that's why I said I would have expected much more rotation. Honestly, I would have expected much more rotation. And it was a good day out for someone like Marley Salmon. I think that guy. I'm not sure. I think he's a 16 or 17-year-old, very composed on the ball. The future really looks bright. It looks extremely bright for him. And also Selford, the goalkeeper that came on, I think Tommy Selford was a good one. Good runner for him as well for the last 5 minutes of the game. I like what Ateta is doing, trying to bring all these young players to give them a feel of what's going on. Because guess what? We're going to need everyone. We're challenging across 4 competitions this season. We need everyone. We need every single contribution that we can squeeze out of everyone. So it was really nice. It was really nice. I don't think the Gabriel, Jesus, and Victor Gyökeres partnership quite worked out. I don't think it did. And I think, for a partnership like that, I don't know. I think if we're going to play a team that is not scared to come out, maybe like a Brighton, right? That kind of partnership might work. But if you're going to play a team that plays deep or always, deploys a low block, I don't think a Gyökeres Jesus partnership is going to work, because it eliminates that creativity from the middle, and we don't really get that same amount of chaos that we want. Gabriel Jesus is not a very great passer of the ball. So, but yeah, it does help that he drops deep, but he's not being efficient enough, to create that chaos that we would want from an attacking midfielder. But then again, it was worth a tryout. I mean, you never know these things unless you try them out. And I like the fact that Ateta did that in a very low risk second half. The game was already won in the first half. So yeah, deploying the 3 at the back and then putting all these players, interchanging them, was really good to see. It was really, really good to see. But anyways, that's about it. Like I said, there wasn't really anything. Honestly, Wigan was a typical day for us now, especially at home. We're always going to win. No disrespect to Wigan, but yeah, I believe that the scoreline should have been much more emphatic. But then we're looking up to the next game. We're looking onward to the next game, which is against Wolves. We can, stretch the lead to 7 points again, and go to the Tottenham Stadium next weekend. Anyways, I remain your humble host. Please, if you have any opinion, if you think that I missed anything in this analysis or in this post-match analysis review, put it down in the comment section. I'd like to know your thoughts. If you want to be a part of the show, you can also reach out to me um, at KZY Talk Sports on Instagram, on Twitter, on TikTok, on Facebook. You can reach out to me on that page. Anyways, I remain your humble Ikezy, and this is me signing out. Peace.